Hi, I'm Margaret Bloomquist, Research Associate to Dr. Janine Davis with NC State Horticultural Science. We're located in the beautiful mountains of western North Carolina. A lot of our research happens at the Mountain Horticultural Crops Research and Extension Center or at Mountain Research Station. But this year, 2020, we're here today to share with you some of our hemp research funded by the NCDA New and Emerging Crops Program as well as other sources. We're looking at the western location of the NC State strain trial. We've got 11 strains out here, and this trial is replicated across the state as well. Our past projects with the planting date and harvest date trial, and also has a drying component which I'll share with you, were located out in Mills River. Results from that showed an opportune June or mid-June planting date we took over for this trial as well. Other results from the planting and harvest date preliminary trials in 2019 include plantings in mid-May, mid-June, and after the solstice in July. Results from both locations in Mills River and Salisbury showed us that the May and June planting date would give us an optimal harvest yield, whereas those planted after the solstice did not. Those were for full season varieties. If you have a shorter flowering time, you can get away with a later planting. Also, we're looking at drying and how that's best. We're very moist here in western North Carolina and have high humidity and lots of rain come harvest season. Climate control is a necessity. This project has given us the funds to purchase 2 flue-cured tobacco barns, and we've just recently got those up and running at the Mountain Hort Center. We look forward to drying this trial and using those for further drying research. We look forward to continuing our optimal planting and harvest date hemp trials next year in 2021. Some of the most important things we're looking at are ever-changing regulations and finding compliance with the cannabinoids, particularly with THC and federal regulation. We want to look at multiple varieties, so we're going to be adding in new strains in addition to the cherry wine and Bayox that we looked at in 2019. We'll also look at some shorter season and other sources of breeding material for those. It's so important that our growers get the proper time in the field to get a good yield and a compliant test result so that their crop is marketable and legal. Another portion of this project, we look at harvest dates and how that impacts. In 2019, we harvested in mid-September and then in the beginning of October, and we're looking at how the chemistry of the plants and the final product compares for that, and if it's worth it to leave it in the field, or if need be, a grower can leave those plants in the field. Also looking at microbial load and other things that come into play with keeping those plants in the field longer. We're grateful for all of our funders and all the backups for our hemp research here in western North Carolina. Here in North Carolina, we are in our last year, 2020, of the Industrial Hemp Pilot Program. Come October 31st, it's uncertain where regulations will lie. And this is another reason why this agronomic and horticultural research is so important. We want to find as much information as we can to offer to growers. We'll be taking NCDA compliant samples and other chemistry samples throughout the season to look at those markers and when is a good time to harvest for different varieties. Again, next season is unclear, as well as for those harvests that may come in after the October 31st deadline, where the USDA and other plans may come into effect for North Carolina growers. We look forward to sharing our results with our growers and the industry. 2019 preliminary results have been reported on and are available. Future research needs include ever more studies for how we can best support North Carolina growers. In western North Carolina, we're going to focus on drying and even how that can affect compliance and chemistry of the final product. We're also going to further those studies with planting dates and harvest dates, spacing and mulching, and all of the insect disease and pathology work that our group of folks do.